Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Big powers reach an agreement in Munich on a rapid cessation of hostilities in Syria and to provide rapid humanitarian access to besieged Syrian towns. People are killed in fighting in northern Homs countryside as the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights expresses utmost alarm at the rapidly worsening human rights situation in some Syrian cities. And in a historic announcement, scientists say they have for the first time directly detected the existence of gravitational waves. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. European Union High Representative Federica Mogherini said today that the agreement reached by big powers on a rapid cessation of hostilities was an important step in the Syria peace talks. The big powers, led by the United States Secretary of State John Kerry and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, struck a deal in Munich early today to start to bring an end to hostilities in a week and to provide rapid humanitarian access to besieged Syrian towns. After extended talks co-hosted by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said the 17 countries agreed to implement a nationwide cessation of hostilities to begin in a target of 1 week's time. Diplomats from the countries backing the talks will also meet today in Geneva to discuss the aid plan. The Sultanate is taking part in this international meeting by a delegation led by His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for foreign affairs. But the Munich deal left out the Daesh group and al-Qaeda's local branch, leaving analysts to doubt its viability. 10 people were killed in fighting in northern Homs countryside, as it was stated by the Syrian Opposition Monitoring Group. A number of people were also injured in fighting. Some of them are in critical condition. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zaid Ra'ad al-Hussein, yesterday expressed utmost alarm at the rapidly worsening human rights situation in and around the city of Aleppo and other parts of Syria, where he said shocking violations and abuses are committed on a daily basis. Zaid also stressed that all parties to a conflict have obligations under international humanitarian law not to place the civilian population in peril by taking shelter amongst them or in protected structures such as schools and hospitals. Suspected al-Qaeda members killed 5 police officers today in an attack in Yemen's second city of Aden. The masked assailants attacked a police outpost in the Basatian area of northern Aden before fleeing. The incident came a day after 3 pro-government soldiers were killed by militants in the southern port city. Al-Qaeda militants claimed a string of attacks and assassinations in recent months. Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro said that 3 people had died of complications linked to mosquito-borne Zika virus, and that suspected cases of Zika had risen to 5,221. Brazil said yesterday that 3 people who died last year had the Zika virus, although authorities could not confirm that Zika alone was responsible for their deaths. Only 1 in 5 people infected with Zika experience illness, and even then, they are normally mild symptoms. The virus is still poorly understood by scientists, and no proof yet exists to show its causes, the birth deformations, or any reported deaths. The World Health Organization has declared a global emergency over possible links to birth defects from the Zika virus, which has spread to more than 30 countries. Patients suffering Guillain-Barré, an autoimmune syndrome that can cause paralysis and has been linked to Zika, are also struggling to find immunoglobulin for treatment. Maduro thanked Brazil, China, Cuba, India, and Iran for helping to provide medicines. In a historic announcement, scientists said that they have for the first time directly detected the existence of gravitational waves, which were predicted 100 years ago by Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity, one of the two pillars of modern physics. The detected gravitational waves were produced during the final fraction of a second of the merger of two black holes to produce a single, more massive spinning black hole. This collision of two black holes had been predicted but never observed. The gravitational waves were detected on September 14, 2015 by both of the Twin Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory (LIGO) detectors located in Livingston, Louisiana and Hanford, Washington State. Based on the observed signal, LIGO scientists estimated that the black holes for the event were about 29 and 36 times the mass of the Sun, and it took place 1.3 billion years ago. Still to come in our news bulletin. Residents of the Indian capital are urged to bring down pollution levels that sometimes reach more than 10 times the World Health Organization's safe limits. Clubs competition for youth innovation were concluded in the wilaya of Yanqul in the governorate of Zahira. The competition witnessed a wide participation from participants in different fields. It is organized by the Ministry of Sports Affairs on the level of the Sultanate. 55 male and female were the winners from Yanqul Sports Club, who competed in the various fields such as fine arts, cultural contest, poetry, and photography. Activating women's role in the society was the theme of the seminar held in the wilaya of Wadi Maawil. The seminar showcased the attention given to women and their effective contribution in the process of development. It was conducted under the auspices of Honorable Dr. Suad bint Muhammad Al-Lawatiya, Deputy Chairperson of the State Council. With the participation of 32 female horse riders, Omani Equestrian Federation organized ability and endurance competition for female horse riders for a distance of 80 kilometers. The competition is aimed to earn the girls the abilities of handling the horses at long distances. It was organized in the wilaya of Barka in the governorate of South Baltana. It witnessed the participation of female horse riders from Oman, Gulf Cooperation Council countries, and other world countries. Giving Omani horse riders the chance to participate in this competition reflects the interest that the Omani government gives to female horse riders. At the end of the competition, winners were honored. In winter, many camping spread in various parts of the Sultanate. In the touristic area of Al-Qasir in the governorate of Al-Buraimi, citizens camp there due to its low temperature, beauty of nature, and tranquility. Campings are considered a chance for relatives and friends to meet. Non-Omanis who pass nearby this area also stop there to rest and to have food with Omani campers. This reflects the warm hospitality of Omanis. New Delhi will restart draconian driving restrictions that will take around 1 million cars off the roads to combat air quality in the world's most polluted capital. Here is a report.
New Delhi's India Gate shrouded in smog. Air pollution here is often more than 10 times over recommended limits, making India's capital the most toxic city on earth.
In the early morning, you see a lot of smoke and fog there. It's pollution, air pollution. So because of that, I want the number of cars on the road to be reduced.
Children and the elderly are particularly vulnerable to the effects of unclean air, which include bronchitis, lung cancer, and heart disease. Countermeasures such as face masks and air purifiers are few and far between in this slum.
I don't send my children out to play. I don't want them to get a fever or a cough because of the dust.
In the evening, there are a lot of traffic jams, and that creates dust and smoke.
Diesel cars, garbage-burning construction and coal-fired power stations all contribute to Delhi's dirty air. And it's an issue experts warn is spiraling out of control.
It's a public health concern, and when it's a public health concern, it also has an impact on economic growth. Air pollution now is one of the biggest killers of children in India, more than diarrhea.
Campaigners say Delhi's pollution could be responsible for up to 30,000 deaths each year. Enforced alternate driving days are one solution being put forward, with the hope that will help usher in a brighter and cleaner future for the next generation.
Now for the general weather forecast. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of scattered clouds on the northern governorates and low clouds and fog late at night and early morning on the governorates of Durrani, Zahira and Wusta and coastal areas overlooking the Sea of Oman. Winds will be northwesterly light to moderate, occasionally active on most governorates of the Sultanate. Seas will be moderate to rough along the Sea of Oman and the governorate of Musandam with a maximum wave height of 2.5 meters, while it will be slight along the rest of the Sultanate with a maximum wave height of 1 meter. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Big powers reach an agreement in Munich on a rapid cessation of hostilities in Syria and to provide rapid humanitarian access to besieged Syrian towns. Ten people are killed in fighting in northern Homs countryside as the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights expresses utmost alarm at the rapidly worsening human rights situation in some Syrian cities. And in a historic announcement, scientists say they have for the first time directly detected the existence of gravitational waves. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.